Good evening and welcome to 1010 News, your top 10 news in 10 minutes. I'm Andy Hong. Deadly earthquakes in the Ring of Fire have claimed over 600 lives. In Japan, a 6.5 earthquake led to a 7.0 aftershock that together killed 51 and injured thousands in the Kumamoto prefecture. Although 953 evacuation centers were activated, there were still dozens trapped under the rubble and 9 who went missing. Across the Pacific, in Ecuador, a 7.8 earthquake left at least 602 dead, nearly 12,500 injured, and 130 missing. Over 26,000 were displaced and now in shelters. Ecuadorian President Rafael Correa announced that the government will raise taxes and sell government assets in response to the crisis. Ecuador is not new to powerful earthquakes, but this latest one is the most powerful since the 1987 quake that killed 1,000 people. Back in Asia, North Korea is gathering attention once again as the South Korean Defense Ministry released a statement regarding a successful North Korean launch of a submarine-launched ballistic missile, or SLBM. Although the missile traveled only 30 kilometers, instead of the average SLBM range of 300 kilometers, the international community is nevertheless troubled by this development, as North Korea's most powerful naval asset lies in its outdated but large submarine force that routinely evades detection in the turbulent waters around the Korean peninsula. This test also falls in anticipation of a rare Congress of the Communist Party next month, the first one since 1980. In Seoul, the Defense Ministry spokesman announced that South Korea will maintain its full defense posture. But South Korea is also under fire from the international community for covering up human rights atrocities ahead of the 1988 Summer Olympics, in which the dictatorship regime rounded up vagrants, children, the homeless, and the disabled, and sent them to 36 facilities around the country where they were abused, raped, subjected to slave labor, and killed. By 1986, there were 16,000 inmates in the camps, 4,000 of whom were in Brothers, the largest and most infamous camp. 90% of the 4,000 did not meet the government's definitions for what constitutes a vagrant. The survivors still have not received any compensation or even recognition from the government as Korea prepares for its 2018 Pyeongchang Winter Olympics. In Mexico, the death toll rises to 28, several days after an enormous explosion at a petrochemical plant in Veracruz. The explosion was felt 10 kilometers away, and toxic fumes forced the evacuation of surrounding areas. This was one of many incidents regarding Pemex, the Mexican state oil company. In 2013, an explosion in the headquarters in Mexico City killed 37, and a 2012 fire in Tamaulipas killed dozens in a Pemex gas facility. The cause of the explosion is still unknown. Federal law enforcement reported on Saturday that over 500 pounds of explosives were stolen from a freight train in the Midwest. Fortunately, they have since been recovered. The source told CBS News that the suspects decided to leave the explosives in an empty field in southwest Detroit as they felt investigators closed in. The suspects were still on the loose when Detroit police were alerted to the location on Friday. 32 cases of commercial-grade explosives totaling more than 500 pounds were stolen from a train going from Chicago to Detroit. A search was launched in 3 states for the material, although one of the cases have now been recovered. Sources say an ATF spokesman said a $5,000 reward is being offered for information on the suspects. Some tragic news from Georgia. The man who shot and killed 5 people in 2 shootings was found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Authorities suspected the shooter, Wayne Anthony Hawes, began the shooting spree as a result of a domestic dispute. They also found evidence that Hawes attempted to burn down the crime scene. The investigation is still ongoing. The crucial New York primary passed with Trump and Clinton consolidating their lead. New York was heavily contested between Sanders and Clinton, but Trump absolutely dominated the New York counties, except Manhattan, which went to Kasich. Trump dispelled all myths of him being serious about his campaign by once again attacking Ted Cruz for being Canadian. Sanders questioned the delegate system, as Clinton's New York victory definitely delivered a heavy blow to Sanders' momentum. The campaign goes on with Clinton and Trump at the lead as we approach the Rhode Island primary. After a tense visit to Saudi Arabia regarding the release of classified 9/11 documents revealing ties between Saudi Arabia and the terror attacks, President Obama is currently in England for the Queen's 90th birthday. But the real heavy topic of discussion is Britain's proposed exit from the European Union. In response, Obama warned England that it could take up to 10 years to negotiate new trade deals, angering many pro-Brexit campaigners. More on trade, President Obama is also pushing forward for the Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership, or TTIP, deal. The negotiations have been happening for the past 3 years, and with this trip being Obama's last to England as president, there is no doubt that he is gunning for some results. And it was announced that abolitionist Harriet Tubman will replace Andrew Jackson on the face of the $20 bill. She was originally planned to replace Hamilton on the 10, which I was personally against, since Hamilton is actually meaningful for American Treasury. He was the first Secretary of Treasury, the main proponent of a national bank, and helped outline a plan that would pay back America's war debts from its independence. Meanwhile, Andrew Jackson led to the dissolution of the national bank, presided over a horrific economic downturn, all while waging wars against the natives. Doesn't seem like a tough choice to me. In any case, the bills will start being commonly circulated in 2030 and will never completely outphase the Jackson 20. For this week's Science News, investigation about the death of the prominent musician Prince Roger Nelson is ongoing as he showed symptoms of a common cold days before his death. Prince canceled 2 of his concerts in Atlanta, citing illness, and requested that no photos or videos be taken in his replacement concerts on April 14th. As Prince was returning to Minneapolis after his concerts, he took an emergency stopover at Quad City International Airport for 10 hours. Prince was taken to the hospital, but 3 hours later he checked out despite the doctor's recommendation to stay. On the evening of April 16th, Prince held a dance party at his home to reassure the public of his well-being. However, he was found unresponsive in an elevator on the morning of the 21st as the staff members were unable to contact him. And as he did not respond to CPR, he was pronounced dead. His cause of death is unknown, and investigations about his illness is ongoing. Although the people have hinted at drug overdose, Prince's agency denies the accusation. As an autopsy has been done, people are waiting for the results behind Prince's death. Well, rest in peace, the legendary singer. And that was the Ten10 News for this week. I'm Andy Hong. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for a bonus video coming out soon. Stay educated.